Thank you for joining us this week on Called to Serve. We're excited this week because we're being joined by two religious sisters who are going to share with us a little bit about the important vocation of the religious sister, as we're joined by Sister Mary Rosario and Sister Jeanette Marie, and they're going to tell us how they were called to serve. Welcome to our program Called to Serve. We're very happy that you were able to join us. We have two special guests today as we're joined by two members of the Mercedarians of the Blessed Sacrament. We're joined by Sister or Mother Marie Rosario, who is the provincial of the Mercedarians here in the United States. And we're also joined by Sister Jeanette Marie, and she is the vocations director for the Mercedarians here as well. Well, we certainly want to welcome the two of you to our program, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Father.
Well, when we're thinking about the important work of religious sisters and all the great work that they do in the church, we wonder, how do young women make this important decision? How do they hear that call and answer it? So we'd like to ask you, and I'll start with you, Mother, would you please let us know a little bit, how did you end up becoming and finding out that this was what God had for you?
Well, first of all, I do remember I was in religion class. I was in the school with our sisters, and the sister put some music, and it was about a fisherman. And after that, she talked about us being the fish, and the fisherman got a vocation. Then she said, well, if any of you is interested in becoming a sister, you can talk to me. So right after that, I thought, I'll talk to her. And I ran after her, and I went, you know, sister, what you were talking about, I want to be a sister. She looked at me like, I don't know, but, but yes, but you had to do this, and you need to finish your studying, and you need to, many things that I had to do, many buts. I said, yes, I can do that, I can do that. And so I said, well, okay, I was studying for bilingual secretary, executive secretary.
So how old were you at this time when she made this invitation?
I probably was about 14.
About 14, okay.
Yes,
so you weren't 5 at the time chasing her
No,
down. Teenager.
Yes.
And something sparked when she asked that question.
Yes, and the song.
And the song.
The song. I think the song was what made me think more, and then she asked. So then, okay, well, it's me, maybe. So I went and talked. After that, I started talking to my parents about it. I told them that I wanted to be, that was chaos. They didn't want that. They did not like it
So
at
neither of your parents were happy with that decision?
No, or brothers, nobody. So
Okay.
I said, okay, then I'll better be quiet. Yes. So I was starting my first year in that as secretary. Then the third year, I just continued with that in mind. The last year, I thought, no, I have to do it. I want to do it, and I'm going to. And I thought, how do I know if this is really my call? I never thought too much about it. That I'll go in, I'll join, and if it's not for me, I don't lose anything. I'll just go back home. But I'll see how they live and do that. I honestly didn't like, and that's what my mother said, but you don't like to pray? It's just the nuns that brainwash you. You don't like to pray, you don't like to go to Mass, and you tell me to, let's go, it's boring, and you don't like any of that. What are you going to do there? You just like to be with people. I said, well, I like to be with people, but in a different way. She said, well, go to a boarding school, continue studying. I like to be with people, but I also want something else. And I just wanted to share what I had. And I knew that staying at home, I was not going to be able to do what I wanted, really. But I said, well, I'll try, and if it's not for me, I'll know now.
So obviously your family wasn't pressuring you to become a sister. They were actually opposed.
Not at all, yes.
So you felt a lot of freedom. It was something that you felt that if you began and it didn't work out, because that's often a concern that parents have, is they don't want to pressure because then you might stay even if you don't want to.
Yes.
But you didn't feel any of that pressure.
Not at all. Not at all. And I just thought, I won't lose anything. My mom, yes, they were very upset because this day, let's say Friday I graduated and Saturday I went to the convent. I didn't want to wait more time. So that happened, and every day I would say, no, it's good here. It's good. I like it. And my mom later on will ask, but do you pray? Do you pray? Even, in fact, she took me to the convent. But she wanted to superior to let her know that, no, look how she dresses. Look, she doesn't like this. She doesn't know how to do this. She doesn't, any of that. So
she was very persistent, your mother.
Yeah. Yeah. So I said, well, mother said, superior said, well, she'll learn. She'll learn. And
now, where was the convent that you first began?
that was in Mexico City.
In Mexico City.
In Mexico
okay.
City. Yes.
Now, is that the founding house?
Yes.
Of your orders where you first began to do your discernment?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
It was with the School of our Sisters.
Okay.
I was there.
All right, very good.
So that's how it was. And I enter, every day of my life has been a gift.
Very good.
Yes, and I love it. Now, my mother said, I'm glad you are there.
She sees that it was the right fit for you now.
Yes, it took some time because they didn't go to my celebrations of postulancy or any of that. But I knew that it was something good. I knew that I heard them at the time, and it was very hurtful because we were very good friends, my mom, my friend. But I knew this was something good, that I was not going to hurt them. And on the long run, I saw the benefit too.
Oh, very good.
Yes.
Well, Sister Jeanette, we don't want to ignore you, obviously, as we're talking as well. Now, how old were you when the idea first began forming in your mind that this might be something that you'd like to pursue?
I was 16 at the time, and my discernment process was very quick. I love parties. I joined when I was 16, so it took very few months for me to discern. I just loved friends. I love to dance, still nowadays. In Mexico, we have the quinceañeras. When the girls turn 15, then they have their parties. So especially in high school, almost every weekend you have a party with any friend that is turning 15. So, and I was always invited, and I was always there. And forget about food. I mean, you go to a party to dance and to enjoy the music and all that. So, and my mother liked that I was like that. One day, and it's not something that I'm proud of, but it's just so you can see how God encounters you in any situation you are. I was skipping class. So I was skipping class,
yes,
and then with two more friends. And we would go and play basketball. So as we were skipping class, we saw Madre Cristina coming to the court. And we said, oh my gosh, we are going to get in so much trouble. So we ran, and we ran to the chapel. And then, of course, you get to the chapel, and you just put your holy face that I'm praying here, I'm not skipping class, I'm just praying here. But when I went to the chapel, another sister was with a group of girls, and she was reading the Bible. And what she read was John 15:16, you have not chosen me. I have chosen you. That was it. I entered, I heard those words, and I really heard them in my heart. And they scared me to death. It's like, what? You have chosen me? And I didn't know what to do, and so I began doing what girls do very well. I began to cry. I just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So, of course, my friends are just looking at me like, what's wrong with her? So, and they kept asking, are you okay? Are you okay? And I was just sobbing my heart out. And I told them, I just need to be by myself right now. I mean, how could I tell them I'm the party girl. How can I tell them? I really just heard that God is inviting me to be, a sister. So I didn't say anything, but that thought, I could not get that out of my heart. Forget about my mind. It was just that call was in my heart. And so after some weeks, I talked to my mom. And I said, Mom, I really think that I want to be a sister. And it didn't go well either. It's like, what? You like to dance? You like the boys? You're like, what are you thinking about? And I said, but you know what? I was in the chapel, and that invitation was for me, that I have chosen you, and I think I need to go. Mm-hmm. So she said, well, for sure you are going to need things to go into the convent. I'm not going to get any of those things. If you want those to buy, all the things that you need to go into the convent, then you have to find a job in the summer, and you are going to purchase everything. So yes, and she was gracious enough to give me that job in her office. So I was like a secretary, helping people and making copies and all that for a month. I talked to the sisters. And of course, they knew that it was the girl that skips classes and all that. So when I talked to sister and I told her, I really want to be a sister, they were like, what? Are you sure? And so with the sisters, it was a little bit tougher because they kept asking me questions. It's not the devout girl that is always going to mass. And all that. I was a little of a troublemaker and having fun. So it took many hours of talking to the sisters and for her questioning me, helping me to discern. Now I see it. They were really helping me to discern if that was really a call or if I was just pulling a leg here and there. Yeah. So then that summer, I did work. And when they gave me the check, my mother said, okay, are you sure you want to go? And I said, I do want to join the sisters. So we went to buy. I didn't have the kind of shoes that the sisters wear and all that. So we went to buy what I needed. And then August 1st, that happened, that experience that I had happened, probably it was February. Mm-hmm. And then in August 1st, I was joining the sisters.
Ah, Feast of St. Alphonsus Liguori, very good,
yes.
Yes.
August 1st. So I think that how your discernment begins, sometimes you're not aware that it has begun. Mm-hmm. But when you begin feeling the attraction, when you begin feeling that, even if you want to call it curiosity, mm-hmm. that can be an attraction, and that can be the first step. Why the sisters are in there? What do they do? Yeah. Do they have fun? Do they play jokes on each other?
Have a party every now and
yes.
then? Yes.
And so those are, sometimes you may call it curiosity, but there may be an attraction there. Mm-hmm. So that's what I tell the girls. If you have curiosity, if you are attracted, visit a community.
Absolutely.
Talk to us.
Well, I'm going to interrupt here just for a moment. We're about halfway through the program already, and just this wonderful, fascinating stories of your vocations. But we're going to take a short break, and then we'll be right back, and we're going to continue on a little bit, hearing about these amazing stories of how you ended up where you are today. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Renee Richard, former archivist for the Diocese of Baton Rouge and a current volunteer in the archives.
I'm Judy Ripple, professional genealogist.
And Leonard Smith III, technologist.
Together, we will be your host for the new series, Roots of Faith Ancestry.
I'll be guiding you through Louisiana records.
I'll be helping you with your online research.
So join us as we explore our family histories through genealogy.
I'm Bishop Robert Munch, Bishop of the Diocese of Baton Rouge. Your contributions to the Bishop's Annual Appeal help support our own award-winning diocesan TV station, Catholic Life Television, that enables us to use this effective visual medium to proclaim the good news of God's love through the local community.
For more information, please call 225-336-8790 or visit baabr.org.
Make me a better person, more considerate towards others, more honest with myself, more faithful to you. Help me to find my true vocation in life and grant that through it I may find happiness myself and bring happiness to others. Grant, Lord, that those whom you call to enter priesthood or religious life may have the generosity to answer your call, so that those who need your help may always find it. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Hello everyone, I'm Shannon Acord and this is Colette Keith, and we're talking about Veritas Vitae, a brand new show that's going to talk about the sacredness of God's gift of life from conception to natural death and every stage in between.
We'll be discussing human trafficking to abortion to hunger. So tune in every week to see these episodes and learn how we're all connected by these issues and learn about the power of God's truth.
Watch our programming on demand anytime at CatholicLifeTV.org.
Welcome back to Called to Serve. Well, as you probably are aware, we've got two wonderful sisters with us today who are sharing with us their stories and some of the opposition they faced even from their own families in their vocation stories. And so I'd like to ask both of you a question of, while you were going along, and both of you seem to have a time when it became very clear to you that this is what God was calling you to do, what were some of the obstacles? Once you already made the decision, once you began the formation, the novitiate, the years of postulancy, these things, what were some of the obstacles that you faced that you had to overcome in becoming the sister that you are today?
Well, I think for me, one was family, because it was difficult to live without them, knowing they are not talking to you. Mm-hmm. The other also, I like to pull pranks, and I like to do that to the sisters. So at one time, I know they were also doubting that I would make a good religious in there. So another good-hearted sister said, just be patient. I think she has vocation, just be patient. I think those were the obstacles for me more than anything else, because everything was, I just had a good life with everybody in there. But yes, the family and this other that I needed to learn how to behave, how to be better.
How ironic that you would end up as provincial when they had their doubts at the beginning.
Still playing pranks.
Yeah, still playing pranks. Well, that's good.
See, I know very well now, being in school too, I know I was in the school and I knew where the children are going. So I walked those
Well, and I'm sure that makes you very understanding of young people and the need that they have for such things as well. Did you also face any obstacles, sister?
First of all, also my mom especially, because every time she visited me, she would cry. So that really hurt me. And the other one is that I didn't know how to cook, to clean, so it was very humbling, because many of the sisters that joined, they would ask them to cook something and they just went and did it. And for me, I had no idea what to do. See, I have 2 older brothers and me, and then at home with us, my grandmother was living and 2 aunts. So we children never did anything. So I was completely useless when I entered. But they were very patient with me. I remember this time they asked me to just sweep the steps and then mop them. And according to me, I did it. And the novice of the mother mistress of novices was asking, they forgot to do the steps. And I was listening and I said, no, no, I did it. And then she pointed at all, the dirt and all that. And she said, let me see you sweeping. So I was like, how did you get this in your hands? And then I could see the other sisters just sweeping like natural, and they were natural at that. And she said, oh dear, you don't know how to get that. Okay, let me teach you, come here. So she was very patient. I remember those 2 days she would do it with me. So I could learn how to do that. So they were, but it was very humbling because everybody knew how to do it and I just felt terrible that they have to teach me that.
So a lot of those community skills you had to learn.
Yes, I had to learn.
As you were going along, and that was humbling. Well, and then that's good because that's part of our vocation as well, is to have that humility. Now, for both of you, now that you are in religious life, if a young woman approaches and says, you know, God might be calling me, what do either of you look for and say, now this is a sign, this is a way to know that God is calling you into our community? What is it that you would be looking for?
I think one is the desire already. You already want. So I would say come and see if this is what you really like, because there are different styles of life that everyone is dedicated to different apostolates also. The charism and the mission is different. So that's what you need to look at. What is that you like to do? You are going to serve God. That's what you want. But how? So that's the apostolate also.
And as vocations director, what would you be keeping an eye out for as well?
Their prayer life. Even if they don't have it yet, but they have the desire. And also their docility, because they have to be ready to be formed. It doesn't matter if they are 19, 20, they have to know that they have to be formed. They have to be able to let us mold them, or to let God mold them.
Yes.
So I think that they have to be aware of that, that you are going to enter into formation, and then you have to let go of your independence little by little. You have to obey, you have to, but there is a reason to do all that. It's because you love God and because you want God to make you into, for us, because of our charism, you have to let God mold you into a tabernacle, living tabernacle. You have to become a Eucharist. So it's the desire first that they have for religious life, and then their prayer life, that they know that they have to learn to waste time with Jesus in the Eucharist.
So that would be an image that for the Mercedarians of the Blessed Sacrament would be very foundational, would be the tabernacle, that you become the vessel of the Blessed Sacrament then. Very good. Now, Mother Mary Rosario told us that there was something of a reconciliation between she and her parents once she entered into the life and they saw how happy she was. How about you and your mother? Was your mother able finally to accept and to embrace?
Yes, as I was in my formation years, I always asked my mom to pray for my final perseverance, and she would always say no. I'm not going to pray that. However, when I made my perpetual vows, then my mother embraced me and said, now I will begin praying so you can persevere until you die, because now you have a commitment, and I don't want you to break it. So it was so now I know that I have my mom praying for my final perseverance.
Very good. Very good. Now, other members of your family, siblings and others, they're also supportive?
Yes. Yes. Well, I mean, they're okay, like brothers and, you know, but they're not against, and that is support already.
The same. I think we have that in common. Our families are Catholic, but they are not strong Catholics. But see, that's the beauty of your vocation, how God chooses. God may choose someone from a very Catholic family, but also from other families that might not be as Catholic.
Oh, yes. Well, no, certainly that's true, and we know among the saints.
Right.
You know, there were saints who were very pious from their childhood, and others that were terribly rough, that God had to form for many years before they became saints. And so certainly even within our own history, that's a part of it. Do either of you have any regrets?
Not at all. Not at all.
Now that you're here, you're living in community life, you've got to deal with all of the difficulties that religious life calls you to. You never look back and say, what was I thinking?
No, I love every day of my life. I have been very happy all my life, I guess, since I was a baby, and I continue being happy. Then in religious life, it's every day like it's a gift from God. What does He have for me today? And it's just beauty. Community life, it's also a gift because we all are so different, and that's why formation is so important. So we learn to live together because we do live in community. So that is a challenge at a time, but it's also a gift because it's the beauty that the gift from one is for the others, and we just share and enrich each other.
I don't think I can find a better husband. He's very patient with me.
Amen, amen.
Very good.
I tell people that all the time. I say, I got the best boss in the world. I said, I got to tell you. And of course, the retirement. Oh, that's even better.
Yes.
Well, we certainly do want to thank you for coming and sharing. And I just want to ask you, if a young woman is watching today and she sees the two of you happy, living your lives for Christ, do you have any advice to give her?
If any girl that is watching this program feels attraction, dreams about something that is beyond what is the ordinary, to go and visit a convent. Because sometimes what the perception that they have of a convent is a perception that the movies sometimes give to people, and that is completely unreal.
Yes.
So they have to go and approach a sister and come and visit. That is the best thing.
See how they live. See the.
And the good thing is that many communities nowadays have a common seas, so they can come and live with us for 1-2 days, a weekend, one week. So they cannot discern unless they have seen us and live our life at least for 1-2 days.
So come and take a look and come and see what's going on.
Right.
Well, that's wonderful. We certainly do want to thank you. We hope that many people were inspired, and certainly I could tell you many of our viewers will be praying for you because they're very faithful to pray for all of our guests, and we do continue to covet your prayers as we ask you to pray for each one of us, to pray for those who minister here in the diocese and throughout the church, and most of all pray that young people and that all people feel the call of the Holy Spirit, humble themselves before Him, and realize that they too are called to serve.